What's up, carnivores? Zach here with American Smoke, and today we're gonna make some beef party ribs. I know you've been seeing these party ribs floating all over Instagram, YouTube Reels, YouTube Shorts, stuff like that, whatever you wanna call it. Anyway, party ribs are around. I made a party ribs video a while back, and it didn't do very good, so I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, today we're making beef party ribs. We've got some beef plate ribs. We've separated them down to the bone, and we're gonna cook them individually. Let's check them out. Beautiful, 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 big, beefy plate ribs. This is one of my favorite things to cook. If you haven't had an opportunity to cook these, keep your eyes open. See if you can find some, because, man, they're what barbecue's all about. Best bite in barbecue is a properly cooked beef plate rib. For seasoning these ribs today, we're gonna be using some Pit O Heaven, That's No Bull Steakhouse Pit Grit. It says bringing maximum beefiness to any cut of beef. Y'all check that out. This seasoning was provided to us by PitMaster BBQ Supply.com. Y'all show them some love, check out the website. But what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be using a binder on this today. I'm gonna be slathering a little bit of soy sauce across this, just to give it just a little bit of extra kick of flavor. Don't get too worried about getting it perfect or anything. Just get some stuff on there and move on. And use whatever you like for binder. You can use hot sauce, you can use Worcestershire sauce, you can use water, you can use whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter, just as long as the seasoning sticks to the beef. We're gonna season all sides, even the membrane. So for those of you that are new to beef ribs, I leave my membrane on, because if you do not, the beef rib will come off the bone. And if you want to serve them on the bone, they have to be on the bone. You know what I'm saying? It's important. We're gonna get all these seasoned up, and then we'll get our smoker prepped. For those of you that follow the channel, you know that if a seasoning has less than 10% salt, I add a little bit of extra sodium to my proteins. Now, this Steakhouse Pit Grit, it is only got 5%, I believe. Yeah, it's at 5%. And so we're gonna be hitting these ribs up with just a little extra salt as well. Seasoned to taste. Now that that's done, we're gonna let this sweat on for a little while while we prep our smoker. For our pellets today, I'm going with half and half blend of the competition blend and some charcoal pellets. So we're gonna mix those up into the hopper. You can put these into a bucket, you know, and mix them up if you want. But this is just sort of how I started doing it, and so that's what we're gonna do. Eyeball, give or take. Give it a stir and proceed on. I really like these charcoal pellets because they just seem to complement beef. So if I'm smoking a big piece of beef, I'm usually gonna add in some of the charcoal pellets. That's ready to go. Let's get this thing fired up. And for these beef ribs, we're gonna set the temp at 250 degrees. You can go as low as 225, up to about 280 is kind of typical, but we're gonna go at 250. Get it fired up. We're gonna set our smoke setting up around 6 or 7. Let's go 6. Get it started, and that's gonna fire up. And since it's big chunks of beef, we're gonna go ahead. I've got a few post oak chunks that we're gonna be tossing into that secondary burn pot to get a little extra smoke flavor on this beef. I think it's gonna turn out awesome. We're coming up to temp now. We've got a little smoke rolling, so let's go ahead. Let's get our beef ribs into the pit. We're gonna go membrane side down. Man, I don't know what you guys think, but that looks like a party to me. Smoke's rolling, charcoal pellets, competition blend with the post oak and the secondary burner. Beef ribs are sweated on, looking fantastic. Membrane side down. Then we're ready to shut it down. Typically this cook is gonna run for about 4 to 5 hours, somewhere in there. I'm gonna come in, I'll probably do a little bit of spritz with water, apple cider vinegar, and a little bit of soy sauce a couple times throughout the cook, but really not too much. These ribs have a lot of intramuscular marbling, which provides moisture from the inside if you'll just give it a chance to render. Remember, that's where your moisture comes from, is the intramuscular fat. Y'all stick around, we'll be back in a little while We'll check on these things here in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. All right, so we're at the hour and a half mark. Let's check it out. I don't really see any real need to spritz. Already getting some good pullback on these bones. It's going to continue to render. Everything looks good and moist. That's really the only reason you want to spritz. We got fat rendering. These look excellent, man. Really good. That's one of the big benefits about cooking these this way is that you're going to get a bark all the way around. Every side is going to get some bark, and that's one of the main benefits of this. Maybe not as juicy of a rib, but the bark, that outside flavor, that crunch, it's going to be there. All right, so we're coming up on the 3.5 hour mark, and I think it's time that we check and take temp to see how close we are. I think we're probably pretty close. Like I said earlier in the video, usually you're looking at around 4 to maybe 5 hour time. That's with 3 to 4 hour cook time and an hour to 2 hour rest. So let's go ahead, check them out. Oh, that is a thing of beauty right there. Feeling tender. Make sure you go in, but don't touch the bone. You'll get a false reading. Right, so a couple of these are about done. All right, so we got 4 that are ready to rest. 4 need a few more degrees. I'm just gonna let those chill. Nice and soft, barely any tug. Let me hear some complaints about this. Ain't nobody complaining about that. And just like that, these party beef ribs are out of the smoke and into the pan. Man, they are so beautiful to look at. Nothing looks cooler than dino bones, baby. I mean, you just can't beat it. We're gonna get them covered, and we're gonna let them rest for at least an hour. Depending on when my family's gonna be home, y'all might have already guessed. I got the house to myself today. It's been all right. I do miss everybody, but you know, got beef ribs. That'll be what's for dinner. Daddy's gonna be the hero, hopefully. Let's go ahead and get them covered. We'll be back, check on them here in just a bit. And since we're doing like an hour, 2 hours max on the rest, I am just going to put these into the smoker because it's gonna be hot for a while. That will help keep them at a nice hot temp, keep them safe to eat, and I don't have to worry about anything really for a 2 hour rest. That should suffice pretty nicely. Probably won't make it 2 hours, but that's how we're doing it today. All right, folks, so that's it for the rest. It's time to go ahead, get these beauties out of the smoker or out of my warming chamber. Comment down below if you've ever used your smoker as a 2 to 3, possibly even 4 hour warming chamber. Definitely smells better taking it out of the smoker. Let's see what he do. Oh, holy guacamole, son. Holy guacamole. The aroma is intense. Let's try this one. Oh, look at that thing right there, baby. That right there is so fire. Let's see if we can get a piece off of there. Man, that's pretty. So much color. And that's beefy. So yeah, I think it's just like with pork ribs. The party style ribs are going to get a lot more bark, a lot more flavor. But it's hard to get them as tender as when it's one big chunk. Sort of protects itself a little bit. But man, if you don't like super tender, if you like a little more chew, party beef ribs, baby. Party on, Garth. Party on, Wayne. It's a beef ribs party. I want to give a big shout out to PitMaster BBQ Supply for supplying us with this rub today. It really brought out the flavor on these beef ribs. And anybody's curious, I'll leave a link down to this below to their website where you can go over, check them out, check out their seasonings. And yeah, this is Pit O Heaven. That's No Bull Steakhouse Pit Grit. That's a long title for a seasoning. Pit Grit seasoning. Sounds better, right? And this is their steakhouse one. So there's that. Just really, really pretty. Juicy, tender, bark, smoke ring, flavor, beef. Everything you want. Carnivores, I hope you enjoyed this video. Come by American Smoked Carnivores on Facebook. I'm in there every day. Thanks for watching. Smoke on, and I'll see y'all in the next video.